Welcome to Phase 3 of your team-based project in applied decision making. We'll share too that there is an accompanying Excel video that you should probably watch after watching this video, and it goes into the specifics of how to run regression in Excel. But this video gives us a bit of overview of what regression analysis is after we speak about our introduction to Phase 3. So one thing I want to share is that you will be, just like the prior phases, you will be providing peer feedback. Same exact questions, same approach, same software. The only things that are different here are that one, this peer feedback is no longer developmental as it was in the first two rounds. It'll actually be used as a portion of your grade. So you'll each get, the team will receive a grade, and then each individual will receive a grade based on peer feedback. I use a weighted model actually to put those two together and come up with a grade. So each person may get a different grade. And you also will not get the ratings that your peers provided you. You will only get one grade that I will be posting. So this is the same. This project picks up the same where we left off at the end of Phase 2. It's the same company for the background. You've already finished Phase 1. You finished Phase 2 and made your recommendation on what product to move forward with. And now we enter Phase 3. And in Phase 3, the Senior Vice President of New Product Development is pleased with your Phase 2 recommendation. However, the CFO of Fat Brain Toy Company, and we'll call that a he for now because I'll be playing this role as well, desires some more sophisticated analysis. Specifically, he wants some regression analysis run based on the focus group data. And he wants to know how the factors of safety, fun, helping children learn, and the price point contribute to the focus group participants' intention to buy. So before we were given the values of intention to buy, now we're going to be calculating the intention to buy because the CFO feels this is the kind of crux of all the information, because that's what they're looking for, whether people intend to buy these products. So we do this based on a regression equation. And I don't know, you may have a lot of experience with this and understand this, but I'll try my best to do a bit of an overview explaining it. If you look at this regression equation down here, what this is telling us is that y, or the outcome or dependent variable, which in this case is the intention to buy, has some relationships to the host of other variables, right? These are called predictor variables. So based on their values, we're predicting the outcome variable, or y. So each of our data that we've gathered is a predictor variable: safety, fun, helping children learn, and the price point. And then we actually have another variable that's added here in regression, which is called the intercept. And this captures whatever isn't explained by these predictor variables, because these predictor variables account for the outcome variable, but then there's some things left over, which is additional unexplained variance, and that has to be captured within the intercept. Sometimes in a regression equation you see an error term at the end here as well. It has to be captured somewhere. So what these are is, when we run this regression equation, we run this one time using all 600 data sets. So that's the 200 focus group participants times the 3 products that they ranked, right? We're using all 600 data sets, as you'll see in the Excel video. And that's going to give us our beta weights, or these B's associated with each of our predictor variables. Then we go back and we take the X's, which is the average value for each product, and we drop those in for each product. And the intercept is actually the same across the two as well. It's the same intercept that you get from running all 600 cases. So what that does is that will give us 3 different Y variables, or 3 outcome variables associated with each product, because we have different average value X's associated with each product that you actually had in Phase 2 as well. So I know a little tricky explaining this. I'm trying to explain as best I can. This is another way I'm trying to explain it to help you. If I do a comparison of Phase 2 and Phase 3, what you did, so this again up here is the regression equation, but in Phase 2 you did a weighted decision model, right? And you were solving for, we'll call this Z right now, which is some value that you were comparing across the 3 products. And this value, you were given weights. You were given the weights based on the survey of the 0.9, I think that's associated with safety, 0.8 associated with fun, and 0.72 associated with learning ability. And then you weren't given the weights associated with the last 2 factors, but you calculated them yourself. And you came up with a z-value for a comparison purpose. Well, in phase 3, now our prior X5 or our prior intention to buy is now our regression outcome variable, right, or dependent variable. And we're using the other 4 as predictor variables, just as said on the prior slide, and adding an error term. So what changes is we don't necessarily know. We have to calculate these beta weights. Before we were given weights, but now we're calculating beta weights associated with each average value, just the same average values we used before. So we're calculating these beta weights. We're adding in an error term, as mentioned in the prior slide, because there will be some unexplained variance. And then here's another difference. All of these we added, right, this amount. Well, I don't know how these beta weights are going to shake out. They might be positive, they might be negative. So some of these actual values could reduce our y or our outcome variable. And beta weights, by the way, can be, over here we were kind of limited to a maximum of 1 based on what we were using. But here, their beta weights could be higher than 1 as well. So again, you're going to have 3 output values that you're comparing, similar to phase 2. There is I said I'm recording a regression video that's out there, but then there is another one which might be helpful to you. It's pretty direct and straightforward regression. It's not based on our case, of course, but it's pretty straightforward. That might be easier for you to understand than my video, or they may complement each other in some way. And your outcome or deliverables that you are delivering for phase 3 is similar to the other phases. You will submit a PowerPoint presentation in advance of when you deliver your presentation. You should include in this the regression formula with beta weights, so everything completed. You shouldn't have the questions marks like mine has. And then you should have the values for each product calculated. And then a recommendation, now based on phase 3 of where you'd like to move forward. The recommendation can be the same as phase 2, or it can be different than phase 2. That's okay. And your recommendation doesn't necessarily need to be based on this regression formula. If that's fair to say, I mean, you definitely want to use it, and you would want to explain to the CFO why you're not basing it on this, or if it's based a portion on this and also on other factors. So, right, there's nothing excluding you from bringing in other factors, but this is what your partner is asking you to do as part of this, right? And they have a track record of success, so you're going to go through the steps and make sure you understand it, and you're explaining the outcome of it. So the person you're explaining it to, the CFO, he's familiar with regression, but he will need you to explain what this means and the output of it. So you need to be familiar with that as well as part of the presentation. All right, thank you very much.